Welcome. Let's begin with the integers warm-up. You earn $7 at your part-time job. What does this mean? This means that every hour you work at that position, you earn $7. On Friday, you receive a paycheck for 13 hours of work minus the $19 for taxes. You put half of your paycheck into a savings account and half of it into a checking account. How much money was added to the checking account? So that is the question we're trying to figure out here. Now, your goal to begin this lesson is to think of some ideas using the words here of how we're going to solve this problem. The first step, I believe, is that we should make sure we're understanding what it's asking. It's asking how much money was added specifically to the checking account. All right, that's very important. So let's begin with the information that we were given. We were given that you earned $7 each hour. So every 1 hour you earn $7, and then you receive a paycheck for 13 hours. Well, how can we figure out $7 per hour when we worked 13 hours? Absolutely. That's a multiplication problem there. So we should be thinking multiplication. So our first step here is 7 times 13. And I like to actually write mine switched. So let me change that and switch that up a little bit. Let's do 13 on top and 7 on the bottom. So we know that for 13 hours of work, we earned $91 or at this part-time job, 13 hours. Now it says we need to minus the $19 for taxes. And I underline minus in red because minus indicates to me an operation. What operation do you think they want us to use or we expected to use with the minus sign? Subtraction. Absolutely. So we are going to subtract now $19 for taxes. And then it says we want to take half of our paycheck and put it into our savings account, and then half of that paycheck and put it into a checking account. So what word are you thinking here? I underlined half the first time, but I didn't underline half the second time. What are halves making you think? Hopefully you're thinking fractions. Fractions, we know parts and wholes. So a half would mean that I only have one part out of the two parts that I need to make a whole. And in this case, the savings is one of the two parts and the checking is one of the two parts. So I can take the amount that represents a whole and split it between those two parts. That would be a division operation here. So I'm going to divide or separate that into two parts. Separate that into two parts there. Now I'm going to show the long division here on the side just to make sure that we understand. 72 divided by 2. And we can use our multiples on the side if we need to, but I'm sure we know these. This one is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. We bring down that 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times. So what does that actually mean? Well, that means that 1/2 of that 72 would be 36. And the other half of that 72 would be 36. So I would need 2 pieces of 36 to make a whole of 72, which now I have shown here in this problem. So what we need to do now, just to ensure we are on the same page as what we're being asked to do, is label these. We have a savings account that gets 1/2 of the remaining balance, and we have a checking account that gets 1/2 of the remaining balance. So from there, in order to answer the question, how much money was added to the checking account, we can see the checking account received $36. All right. Happy learning.